Hey everyone, it's the last week of April. I'm just hanging out here on our home base homestead, Sandy Shores Farm, and I've decided that maybe I should start doing weekly garden tours just so we can see the progress here. And now that there's finally things growing, it'll be fun to see. So let's take a look. So this is our main garden area. In the front here we have a few perennials, a couple herbs, and then we have two long beds that are divided into rows. And there's 10 rows total, and it's next to our animals here and our little house. Starting up here in the front, not really a whole lot going on. I got some hens and chicks and a couple of perennial flowers. I used to have thyme and a few other things in here, some cone flowers and whatnot, but it seems that this winter really did a number on this garden. So, oregano, anyone? There's lots. And I'm probably going to dig up the stumps of the old things here and plant some new herbs in here. So on this end here, this very first bed, I just planted some random greens, some lettuces and spinach, because this bed is eventually going to have my tomatoes in it. So just to keep a little bit of cover for now and to have something low growing, I planted some random greens. I can't honestly actually remember what all is in here. So it'll be a surprise. Next to the greens, I have some Brussels sprouts here, and then a row of turnips. I figured that the turnips would be done way before the Brussels sprouts get tall enough to start doing their thing. They're more of a late season crop, so I'll be able to pull these out by the time these things get too big. Maybe plant something else under here after. And in the next bed over here, I have a variety of kale. You can see those tiny little purple guys there. That's some purple kale. And next to it I have that variety of kale that has the pink and purple kind of veins. And then behind that I have some regular green frilly kale. It's tiny little sprouts right now. And the next bed here we have some onions. They're just regular white onions. We ended up planting from onion sets this year. Usually I would do from seed, but I couldn't find any. Apparently that was one of the hot items this year. And there's one really big one right there, but they're all starting to come up, which is great. And then right next door to that, I actually can't remember what I planted with the cucumbers, but we have cucumbers just starting to sprout now. I threw something in there that would finish really quickly, and maybe it was radishes? I didn't write it down. That was the only thing I didn't write down. And a little bit further down here, I've made a couple attempts at sunflowers. I just planted that one there from my germination test in the sunroom, but I've planted them a couple times and they come up and get some leaves and something is eating them, and this is the first time I've ever had that problem, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. But while we're talking about sunflowers, let's go back up to the front because I totally forgot something. So up around the corner here in front of the chicken coop along the road, we decided that we were going to do a wall of sunflowers and peas. Now the mistake that we made was planting them both at the same time, because as you can see the peas came up very quickly and they kind of crowded out the sunflowers. But again, the ones that did come up were eaten and the peas were not touched. So I don't know if those are going to go or not. That one there is trying to get some second leaves on it. It might work. I'm just going to clear out some space for it here. Give them some room. Maybe they'll go. Maybe they won't. Here's a little secret patch here that sort of survived. They got a little bit munched on, but they look like they're trying to go, so we might get some sunflowers up here and a whole bunch of peas. So hopefully those will grow up and shade the coop in the summertime and give us a little bit of extra birdseed. Okay, so back where we were, This back area here, we weren't going to use it. We've had problems in the past with our landlord spraying the pesticides on the other side of the fence. So we've agreed to maintain the back side of the fence and hopefully he doesn't spray this year. So we're just going to throw in some corn here and see what happens. It's a little early here for corn, but we did decide to plant some here underneath our poly frame. Oops, it's getting a little bit dry. But we're doing an experiment here to see if planting it 2 weeks early under poly will make it grow and do the thing. And then in this bed here, we're going to plant at the regular time, which is between May 12th and 20th, I believe. Now coming back up here, we did a video here about this pea trellis that we made. I'll get to that soon, but we did the peas here at the very back so that they would kind of create a wall to hide, you know, our junk until the corn grows in. So we've got some spinach underneath that, and once that is ready to cut, which will be soon, we will plant some more. We do have other spinach in the green bed. And next to the peas and spinach, we have carrots. This was an older seed pack of rainbow carrot blend. It doesn't look like all of the varieties came up, but something did. You can kind of see the rows there. So we did plant some of these up at the mountain farmstead. Hopefully between the two we will get something. We did find more carrot seeds. Probably gonna sow some more carrot seeds up there shortly. And next to the carrots we have the original greens bed. Look at those lettuces. This is the blend from West Coast Seeds, their mesclun mix. So there's a few varieties in here that you can come and cut, come again. And they'll grow back for a little while until they bolt. And then behind those there, we have some romaine. And wouldn't you know it, I had a 100% germination rate. Look at them, they're beautiful. Next to the lettuce, I've got a full bed of beets. Well, it looks like some of them didn't go in the front here. Somehow they always end up clumping together in the same spot. They're a little more even on this side. I wonder who planted which side of this one. So one of the many awesome things about beets is that for many varieties you can also eat the greens. They're getting there. And we like to eat them roasted. We can juice them. They can make really good snacks if you want to kind of make some chips out of them. And pickle them, of course. That's our favorite thing to do. So we always plant lots and lots of beets. That was the whole side yard garden there. This is the garden out front of the house. Up at the front corner here by the mailbox we have some decorative perennials. And it looks like my columbines are about to open. Ah, yeah, sweet. Look at that. I have, these ones I think are the pink ones and those are the red ones, if I remember correctly. I have a ton of seeds from these guys, if anybody wants some. This is their 4th year, and they're doing pretty good here. And then this pot was left here. I guess it had some random things planted in it, but that's a pieris. And there was tulips planted underneath, and they have leafed out every year, but they've never flowered until this year. We randomly have one tulip. That's pretty cool. And my frogs. And then our winter flowers, which are starting to get kind of cruddy looking. And we have a tray, mostly herbs and a couple tomatoes. The strawberries are probably going to end up going up to the mountain farmstead. And then we're going to have a cherry tomato here by the door with a bunch of different herbs for salads and cooking and whatnot. But this front bed here was horrible. It used to be our strawberry bed. It was great the first year we were here, and then it was overtaken by buttercups. For anyone not familiar with buttercups, this is what they look like when they're flowering, and that's their leaves there. And these things, these ones here are actually growing in gravel. They will literally grow anywhere, but they are opportunists, and they will get right into anything. They're so hard to get rid of. But at one time, this whole bed was filled with strawberries. We had an amazing strawberry patch here until last year, I believe it was. The buttercups got really, really bad, and they pretty much overtook the whole patch. We couldn't even keep up with ripping them out. What we actually ended up doing was digging the entire bed up. We dig all the strawberries out, pulled all of the roots out of the strawberry roots of the buttercups, and it was kind of tedious, but we stripped them right down to bare roots. They don't really mind being disturbed. Apparently it's good for them, so we did that, and then we replanted them, and now we're gonna see what happens. You can see here there's a couple trying to sneak back in here. Well, the thing about buttercups is they send offshoots the same way that strawberries do, but they also get like a really, really long tap root, so it makes them extra difficult to get rid of completely. Oh, I broke that one. You have to come back and dig that out. Ah. Oh, look. They're flowering. That's cool. While we're up here, we might as well look in the sunroom. So we've got some seed trays going on in here. I don't usually start things from seed indoors or in trays because I have horrible luck with it. And the cups here, we have some different herbs. As you can see, nothing has sprouted. But in the second tray here, I just randomly planted some green onions just to see what would happen, and it looks like they're going. But I might bring those up to the mountain farmstead now that we've got some water stored up there. And then, oh my goodness, this is the first time ever in my whole entire life that I've gotten celery to sprout. Look at them. It looks like they all went too, which is incredible. Like, I really wasn't expecting them to go at all. I've never ever had luck with them. So much so that I didn't actually plan a spot for them. So they look like they're gonna go. I'm gonna have to make space somewhere in the rows for them to go. I'm gonna give it a try. Over here we have more herbs. I definitely had better luck with this tray. Which of these again here? Parsley. Okay, so those two are parsley. And then, I can't remember what's going on in here. Look at that tiny little thing. It's so small. It might not even be what it is. Oregano. So I won't really be that heartbroken if they don't go. And then here I have basil and holy basil. Can't remember which is which. That's basil. And it looks like a lot of those ones went. So that's pretty cool. They're growing really slow though. But there they are. So if we go the other side of the sunroom here, and onto our sun deck. There's the strawberries. We have some planter boxes. They did have herbs in them, but it was a really, really harsh winter, and I didn't take them in. That was my bad. They all died. So in here, I just planted some radish seeds yesterday or the day before. And they've got a little miniature lavender, and I don't know what I'm going to put in there with it yet. Some more herbs. My beautiful lilac. I love this. It's miniature lilac. Got it at the plant sale last year, and I love it. It's just about to open up and smell really, really good. And then we utilized one of our old raised beds, put some buckets in it, and we put some really special tomato seeds from a friend back east in that middle pot there. And then I've tried cucamelons. I don't know, they kind of went last year, but if they do, I'm just going to let them do their thing around the bottom. And then I tried some dragon's tongue beans in the far pot there. So we'll see if they go. And then this here is our pumpkin patch. I don't know if we actually planted pumpkins in it this year, but it is too early. We did try plugging some seeds in, but I don't think they've gone. We're probably going to replant these beds. Wait a minute, what is that? No, I don't know. It's not a squash, but we want to do zucchinis here, and then a couple different summer squash here, and then do our winter squash up along the fence there. So that was the only squash seed to go. I believe it's the red curry squash. It's like a mini Hubbard squash. And nothing else came up except for whatever these are. I think they might be volunteers. There's a couple of them. So I wouldn't have planted seeds that close to the edge of the bed, but I'm curious to see what they are, so I'm gonna let them do their thing and see what happens. Then along the back there, along the fence, we have potatoes. And these came up actually really quick. And it looks like pretty much all of them went. And a lot of these were potatoes that were in our pantry from last year, from a crop that we did over at the 5-acre homestead. So yeah, second crop for us. Some of these were red potatoes and possibly new potatoes. I can't remember, but it'll be a delicious surprise. And back here behind the potatoes we have our rescue rhubarb. We picked up the roots of the rhubarb off the road when our landlord decided to switch from rhubarb to blueberries. So they toted it all out of here, and a couple of them fell on the road. We picked them up and planted them, and of course they went. Look at them. We could already get it. He's ready. Here we have a compost pile. It's mostly spent hay and chicken poo, goat poo, all kinds of poo. And we just throw a little bit of green in there and then cover it up with hay and just kind of let it rot. It's a really rich pile. And if we look down the fence here, these holes are where our winter squashes are going to go. So we're not quite done tilling this up yet. There was a lot of compost and manure that went all along this fence the past couple of years, so it should be really rich soil. And then way over here at the end of everything, we put in some of our leftover potatoes, and it looks like one of them's already starting to go. Right there. I do believe, yep, there's another one over there. So those ones are going. So out there behind the fence, that is a plum tree. And our landlord planted us a couple of plum trees. There's another one behind the house because he knows that we like plums. We traded him one year a bunch of plums from a neighbor's tree for some of his blueberries. So he decided to plant us some plums. And that concludes the tour of the garden right now. Thank you guys for joining me on a tour of the garden. That was really fun. Hopefully I'll remember to keep doing this going forward. I'll try and do it every week about the same time so we can see what changes week by week. Yeah, that's it. What's up, Zorro? Is that you? Is that you, my man? We've had a few people ask what kind of space that we're working with here on our little Sandy Shores farm. And it's actually only 1/10 of an acre. So we have the animals next door on our neighbor's property, just along the strip that neighbors us, and then the rest is garden and house. So our first year here we got 2,500 pounds of food out of this yard, and we're gonna see if we can do better than that this year. Thanks for joining me. Check it out again next week.